The Mockery Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Pioneer, humanity's sole interstellar vessel, watching the massive galactic assembly station grow larger in the viewport. After 3 months of travel through the void, they had finally reached the heart of galactic civilization. The station looked like a crystalline flower blooming in space, its petals formed by docking arms that could accommodate thousands of ships. Currently, those arms held the combined fleets of 17 different species. The Pioneer, in comparison, looked like a child's toy floating toward a city. Her first officer, Marcus Thompson, approached with a tablet displaying the latest intercepted communications. The translations weren't encouraging. Every species in the assembly was discussing their arrival, and none of the comments were respectful. The Valorians called them cosmic infants. The Nexari referred to humanity as the galaxy's newest comedy act. The powerful Korthak Empire had already placed bets on how quickly the humans would retreat back to their homeworld once they realized their place in the cosmic hierarchy. Sarah's jaw tightened as she read through the messages, but she maintained her composure. Earth's leaders had warned her this would happen. Humanity had only discovered faster-than-light travel 18 months ago, while some of these civilizations had been spacefaring for millennia. They had entire armadas, planet-killing weapons, and technology that seemed like magic. Humanity had the Pioneer, a converted mining vessel with experimental engines and a crew of 43 souls. The communications panel lit up with an incoming transmission. Lieutenant Jessica Park, their communications officer, looked up with concern. "They're granting us docking permission, but they've assigned us to the maintenance sector. That's where they put damaged vessels and cargo haulers, not diplomatic ships." Sarah nodded calmly. "Accept their terms. We're here to make an impression, one way or another." She turned to address the bridge crew. "Remember your training. We may be outnumbered and outgunned, but we're not outmatched. Humanity didn't survive on Earth by being the strongest or the fastest. We survived by being the most adaptable." Chief Engineer Carlos Rodriguez emerged from the engine room, wiping his hands on his coveralls. His expression was troubled. "Captain, I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from the station. They're running deep scans on our hull, but that's not the concerning part. There's a localized field generator aimed directly at our docking trajectory. If I'm reading this right, it's designed to cause a controlled engine failure." Thompson's face darkened. "They're planning to humiliate us. Make our ship break down in front of everyone to prove we don't belong here." Sarah smiled, though there was no warmth in it. "Rodriguez, can you counteract it?" The engineer's eyes gleamed with the kind of determination that had gotten humanity to the stars. "Give me 20 minutes and I'll turn their trap into a surprise they won't forget. The Pioneer might look like scrap metal held together with hope, but she's got teeth they haven't seen yet." As Rodriguez rushed back to engineering, Sarah watched the assembled alien fleet surrounding the station. Each ship was a masterpiece of advanced engineering. The Valorian dreadnoughts gleamed like polished silver, bristling with weapons that could crack moons. The Nexari bioships pulsed with organic light, alive in ways human science could barely comprehend. The Korthak battlecruisers were geometric nightmares of sharp angles and dark energy shields. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's xenobiologist and cultural specialist, joined Sarah at the viewport. "They're all predators in their own way," she observed quietly. "Every species here fought their way to dominance on their homeworlds through strength, conquest, or technological superiority. They see our single ship and assume we're prey." Sarah's fingers traced the outline of a small device in her pocket, one of several secrets the Pioneer carried. Humanity had learned long ago that appearance and reality were often very different things. The Pioneer looked like a desperate attempt at joining the galactic community. In truth, it was something far more dangerous, humanity's Trojan horse. "Docking sequence initiated," Park announced. "We're being guided to Bay 374C. She paused, listening to her earpiece. "Captain, Ambassador Crixton of the Valorian hegemony is requesting permission to board once we dock. He says he wants to personally welcome humanity to the galaxy." Sarah recognized the name. Crixton was known throughout the galaxy as the hegemony's chief negotiator, famous for crushing the spirits of lesser species before absorbing them into the Valorian Empire. His welcome would be anything but warm. "Grant him permission," Sarah ordered, "and have Security Chief Williams meet him at the airlock with an honor guard. Let's show them that humans understand protocol, even if they think we don't deserve it." The Pioneer slid into the docking bay with surprising grace. Around them, maintenance robots and lesser species cargo vessels filled the cramped space. Through the transparent aluminum windows of the station's corridors, Sarah could see crowds gathering. Hundreds of different alien species had come to witness humanity's arrival, most wearing expressions her translator tagged as amusement or disdain. Rodriguez's voice crackled over the intercom. "Captain, I've isolated their field generator's frequency. When they activate it, they're going to get a surprise. I've also brought our special systems online just in case things get interesting." The airlock sealed with a hiss, and moments later, Ambassador Crixton entered the Pioneer. The Valorian stood 3 meters tall, his crystalline skin refracting light into rainbow patterns. His forearms moved with practiced elegance, and his telepathic presence pressed against the minds of the human crew like a cold wind. Behind him, 6 Valorian guards took positions that were anything but ceremonial. Captain Chen, Crixton's voice resonated both audibly and mentally, making several crew members wince. "I am here to offer you wisdom. Turn your quaint vessel around and return to Earth. The galaxy is not kind to species who overestimate their importance." His mental probe pushed harder, searching for fear, weakness, any crack in human resolve. Sarah met his gaze steadily, her own mind surprisingly resistant to his telepathic intrusion. "Ambassador, humanity appreciates your concern. However, we've traveled quite far to be here. It would be rude to leave before the assembly meeting." Crixton's crystalline features shifted into what might have been a smile. "Then let me be more direct. The Galactic Assembly has no interest in primitive species who can barely manage one ship. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Your weapons are toys. Your shields are paper. You offer nothing but another mouth to feed at the galactic table." Chief Williams, standing behind Sarah, shifted slightly. The security chief was a veteran of Earth's unified military, and his hand rested casually near his sidearm. Sarah noticed several of the Valorian guards tense in response. "With respect, Ambassador," Sarah replied, "you haven't seen our technology in action. You're making assumptions based on appearance." Crixton laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Very well. Let me arrange a demonstration." He activated his communicator and spoke in rapid Valorian. Within seconds, alarms began blaring throughout the docking bay. Park's voice was urgent. "Captain, they've activated their field generator. They're trying to trigger a cascade failure in our engine core." Sarah didn't move, didn't even blink. She simply waited, counting down in her head. 3, 2, 1. The lights in the docking bay suddenly dimmed as every piece of technology within 100 meters of the Pioneer shut down completely. The field generator died with a pitiful whine. Emergency lighting failed. Even the Valorian guards' advanced armor systems went dark. The only technology still functioning was aboard the Pioneer itself. Rodriguez's voice echoed through the ship's speakers, loud enough for everyone in the docking bay to hear. "Sorry about that, folks. When you try to mess with human engineering, sometimes it bites back. Don't worry. Your systems will reboot in about 60 seconds. Probably." Crixton stumbled backward, his telepathic abilities momentarily scrambled by the electromagnetic pulse. For the first time in centuries, the ancient Valorian felt something he'd forgotten existed. Uncertainty. Sarah stepped forward, her voice carrying the quiet confidence that had gotten humanity through ice ages, plagues, and world wars. "Ambassador, you asked what humanity brings to the galactic table. We bring innovation. We bring adaptability. And most importantly, we bring the ability to turn any attack into an opportunity. Your field generator just gave our engines a power boost that will last for weeks. Thank you for the gift." Through the viewport, the assembled crowds were no longer laughing. The expressions on alien faces had shifted from amusement to something else entirely. Fear, perhaps. Or maybe, for the first time, respect. The Reckoning. The Galactic Assembly Hall could accommodate 10,000 representatives from across the galaxy. Its domed ceiling displayed a real-time map of the Milky Way, with colored dots indicating the territories of each member species. Earth's dot was barely visible, a tiny blue speck on the galactic arm's edge. As Sarah Chen and her diplomatic team entered, the vast chamber fell silent. News of the docking bay incident had spread faster than light itself. Sarah's team was small but carefully chosen. Dr. Tanaka carried a briefcase containing biological samples and scientific data. Lieutenant Commander James Wright, their tactical officer, wore his dress uniform with medals from Earth's unified forces. Maria Santos, their trade specialist, had spent years studying galactic economics. They walked through the ocean of alien delegates with heads held high, ignoring the whispers that followed in their wake. The Assembly's High Chancellor, a being from the ancient Xenathi race, observed from a platform that floated above the gathered masses. The Xenathi were among the oldest spacefaring species, their technology so advanced that other races considered them nearly godlike. The Chancellor's form shifted like living mercury, never quite solid, never quite energy. The human delegation has arrived, the Chancellor announced, its voice resonating through every universal translator simultaneously. They have requested full membership in the Galactic Assembly. Who will speak for them? Sarah stepped onto the designated platform, feeling the weight of billions of eyes upon her. She thought of Earth, of the children looking up at the stars and dreaming of this moment. I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earthship Pioneer. I speak for humanity. A harsh laugh echoed through the chamber. Supreme Commander Thax of the Korthak Empire rose from his delegation's section. The Korthak were warriors, their empire built on the conquered ruins of a dozen species. Thax himself was a mountain of scaled muscle and cybernetic enhancements. You speak for a single world with a single ship. The Korthak Empire commands 8,000 vessels, the Valorians 12,000. Even the smallest member of this assembly has a fleet of hundreds. What could one ship possibly offer? Sarah touched a control on her podium, and a hologram of the Pioneer appeared above the assembly. One ship, she agreed. But Commander, when has humanity ever needed more than ingenuity to survive? We evolved on a death world, a planet where everything from the weather to the wildlife tried to kill us. We survived not through strength but through adaptation. The Nexari representative, a being of pure bioluminescent energy, pulsed with skepticism. Pretty words, human, but this is not your Earth. Space does not care for your adaptability when a plasma cannon vaporizes your hull. Sarah smiled and pressed another control. The hologram of the Pioneer began to change, showing layer after layer of hidden technology. Then perhaps it's time you learned what human paranoia and preparation really mean. For the past 50 years, while you've been laughing at our radio signals and primitive rockets, we've been listening, learning, preparing. The hologram zoomed in on the Pioneer's hull. What you see as outdated metal is actually a metamaterial composite that absorbs and redirects energy. Your weapons don't destroy it. They feed it. The electromagnetic pulse in the docking bay? That was just our engines venting excess power from Ambassador Crixtan's attack. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Crixtan himself stood suddenly, his crystalline form flashing with indignation. Impossible! No species developed such technology in mere decades. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, opening her briefcase to reveal a small device. With respect, Ambassador, you're thinking like a Valorian. Your species evolved with natural telepathy, so your technology enhanced what you already had. The Korthak evolved as apex predators, so they built bigger weapons. Every species here followed the path of their evolution. But humans? We evolved as problem solvers. Our technology doesn't enhance our natural abilities. It compensates for what we lack. She activated the device, and suddenly every screen in the assembly hall displayed different images. Human history, from cave paintings to space stations, from the first wheel to the Pioneer's launch. We went from horse-drawn carriages to lunar colonies in less than 200 years. From first flight to faster-than-light travel in under 2 centuries. Not because we're stronger or smarter, but because we're desperate. Desperate to explore, to understand, to survive. Supreme Commander Thax slammed his armored fist onto his podium. Enough! Technology or not, you are one ship against thousands. If we decided to destroy you, you would be cosmic dust before your message reached Earth. Sarah's expression hardened. Would you like to test that theory, Commander? The challenge hung in the air like a charged particle. No one had ever spoken to the Korthak Supreme Commander that way and lived. The entire assembly held its breath. Rodriguez's voice suddenly echoed through Sarah's earpiece, loud enough for the nearby delegates to hear. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the Korthak fleet. They're powering weapons. Sarah didn't flinch. Rodriguez, initiate Protocol 7. For a moment, nothing happened. Then every display in the assembly hall went dark. Emergency lighting flickered. When the screens came back online, they showed something impossible. The Pioneer, suddenly surrounded by what appeared to be hundreds of identical copies of itself. The sensor readings were going wild, unable to distinguish which signal was real. Wright spoke calmly into his communicator. His voice broadcast throughout the hall. Korthak Fleet, this is Lieutenant Commander Wright of the UES Pioneer. You're probably discovering right now that your targeting systems can't lock onto us. That's because the Pioneer isn't just a ship. It's a modular platform capable of projecting false signatures, bending light, and creating sensor ghosts. You could fire randomly and might hit us, or you might hit the station. Your choice. The Chancellor's form shifted, its attention fully focused on the human delegation for the first time. Fascinating. You've turned your single weakness into a strategic advantage. One ship that could be anywhere, everywhere, or nowhere. Santos stepped forward with her tablet, seizing the moment. The economic implications are significant. Humanity offers unique perspectives on problem-solving, resource optimization, and crisis management. Our homeworld's corporations have developed recycling processes that achieve 97% efficiency. Our medical technology, born from constantly fighting diseases, could benefit species struggling with their own biological challenges. Our entertainment industry alone could provide cultural exports worth billions in galactic credits. A smaller delegation from the Etherian collective, peaceful traders who had remained silent until now, stood up. Their spokesperson, a delicate being resembling a living crystal formation, chimed melodiously. The humans raise valid points. Their approach to technology is unique. Perhaps diversity of thought is more valuable than fleet size. Crixtan's telepathic presence surged through the hall. They're deceiving you all. One clever trick doesn't make them our equals. Sarah raised her hand and the Pioneer's sensor ghosts vanished, leaving only the single ship visible again. You're right, Ambassador. We're not your equals. We're different, and that's precisely why the galaxy needs us. Every species here represents a successful evolutionary path. You've all solved the challenge of survival in your own ways. But what happens when you face a problem that evolution didn't prepare you for? Who adapts then? She gestured to the star map above them. Look at your territories. They've barely changed in centuries. You've grown comfortable, complacent. Meanwhile, Earth developed from Bronze Age to Space Age in 4,000 years. We're not here to challenge your military might or claim your territories. We're here to remind you that the universe is full of surprises. And sometimes, the smallest voice carries the most important message. The Chancellor descended from its platform, its form solidifying as it approached the human delegation. You've made your point, Captain Chen. But membership in the Assembly requires more than clever words and one adaptable ship. It requires contribution, commitment, and trust. What assurance can you give that humanity won't simply take our technology and turn it against us? Sarah reached into her pocket and pulled out the device she'd been carrying since leaving Earth. It was small, no larger than a human palm, covered in intricate circuitry. This is a quantum entanglement communicator. Earth has its pair. Whatever decision you make here now is witnessed by our entire planet. If you accept us, 8 billion humans will know instantly that the galaxy welcomed them. If you reject us, they'll know that too. And then you'll all discover what humanity does when its back is against the wall. She set the device on the podium. But if you accept us, you'll also discover what humanity does when it's given a chance to help. Our engineers are already working on solutions to the Nixari energy crisis. Our biologists have theories about the Valorian crystalline degradation syndrome. Our historians want to help preserve the stories of every species here. We don't want to conquer the galaxy. We want to improve it. The Assembly erupted in discussion. Dozens of species debated in their own languages, creating a chaos of sound that the translators couldn't fully process. Through it all, Sarah stood calmly, her team beside her waiting. Finally, the Chancellor raised what might have been an arm, bringing silence. A vote will be taken, all in favor of granting humanity provisional membership in the Galactic Assembly. Lights began to appear across the hall as delegates voted. First a few, then dozens, then hundreds. The Etherian collective voted yes immediately. Several smaller species followed. Even some of the military powers, impressed by the Pioneer's capabilities, signaled their approval. When the count was finished, the Chancellor's form shifted into something that might have been a smile. By a margin of 64%, humanity is granted provisional membership. You will have 1 galactic year to prove your contributions merit full status. Sarah felt relief wash over her, but she kept her expression neutral. We accept these terms. Supreme Commander Thakex stood one final time. Remember this, human. You've won a seat at the table. But the galaxy is still dangerous. One ship, no matter how clever, won't protect you from everything out here. Sarah met his gaze steadily. With respect, Commander, humanity has never expected protection from others. We've always been our own guardians, and now perhaps we can help guard others too. As the assembly began to disperse, Dr. Tanaka whispered to Sarah, "They still don't realize, do they? The Pioneer isn't our only ship." Sarah smiled slightly. "No, they don't. The colony ships hidden in the asteroid belt, the defense platforms around Earth, the lunar shipyards working around the clock. Let them think we have one ship. Sometimes the best strategy is letting others underestimate you." Rodriguez's voice came through the communicator, tinged with pride. "Captain, Earth just received the news. The entire planet is celebrating. Orders from the President: proceed with Phase 2. Phase 2. The real mission could begin now. Humanity had its foot in the door of galactic civilization. Now it was time to show them what happened when you invited humans to the party. They didn't just attend. They revolutionized it." As the Pioneer prepared to leave the station, Sarah looked back at the Galactic Assembly building. They'd laughed at humanity's one ship. They'd mocked their primitive technology. They'd dismissed them as cosmic infants. They weren't laughing anymore.